Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Ajnanatimirandhasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Visakhanvitamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindho Dinabandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vanchakalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya eva cha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Namo Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Presthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swaminiti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. So thank you all very much. So how can I serve you all? I must say that today has been a very long day actually. Sangapal Prabhu is still at the hospital, apparently still at the operation theatre. He went in at 11:10 for preparation, and it's maybe 1 hour for preparation, say 12 o'clock, but it's already 8:12 and there's no news yet. It's a very long day today. All right, so who's any questions are there? I think in the chat. I can't hear anyone.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, there are no questions as such. You can hear me?
Yeah, I can now.
Okay.
Until now, nothing.
Yeah, so we can request everybody to either chat or voice over any questions or any topic they want to go over. We have the first question from Dimitri Prabhu in the chat.
Okay. According to Varnashram, Shudras are not allowed to study Vedas, but in Kali Yuga, everybody is Shudra. So how is it possible that we can study Vedas now? Is it Prabhupada's mercy? We still are not allowed. That's why we are studying Bhagavad Gita, Srimad Bhagavatam. Because Vedanta is not for us actually. That's why Chaitanya Mahaprabhu try to show how to share the screen though. How do you share the screen here? Share screen. Okay.
Yeah. Arrow button upwards.
You can see my entire screen here.
Yes, can.
It's quite wide. Huh? I need
Can
to
see it.
increase the size. Is this easy to read? Or?
Yes. For desktops, it is. I think somebody can confirm if they are looking, if it's legible over a mobile. I think it is. I think Prabhu had the same size.
So this size
It's
is
way
better.
too big. That's a little.
Okay.
Yeah, it's fine now.
Is that okay?
Yeah.
Okay. So 1 second. So in the Srimad Bhagavatam, this is mentioned. स्त्रीशूद्रद्विजबन्धूनां त्रयीन श्रुतिगोचरा कर्म श्रेयसि मूढानां श्रेय एवं भवेदिह इति भारतमाख्यानं कृपया मुनिना कृतम्. Out of compassion, the great sage thought it wise that this would enable men to achieve the ultimate goal of life. Thus, he compiled the great historical narration called Mahabharata for women, laborers, and friends of the twice born. Okay, some good news from the hospital. He's out of surgery, but not yet awake. So the anesthesia is still acting. So he's not yet awake. So at least the surgery is done. Just a second. Okay, so the Trai means the Vedas. Trai na Shruti Gochara. So if you see the word to word, the three sacrificial Vedas not allowed to be heard by the friends of the twice born, Dvijabandhunam and Stri and Shudra, women, laborer class, Mudhanam of the less intelligent. So that's why Mahabharata was written for less intelligent people. So Vyasadeva did not want to leave anybody out. So it's not that less intelligent people should not be able to go to Krishna, because Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita that what is it? Not Mamsa Vibhachara. What is this? Mamhi Partha Vyapashritya Yepisyo Papa Yoneya Striyo Vaishyas Tatha Shudras Tepiyanti Param Gatim. 932. O son of Pritha, those who take shelter in me, though they be of lower birth, women, Vaishyas, and Shudras, can attain the supreme destination. So, taking shelter of me means, especially Bhakti Yoga, which can be even done by a child. So, that is the reason why there's not much Vedanta. You see, whoever is doing Vedanta study, they end up with impersonalistic philosophy. We are reading directly Srimad Bhagavatam, the ripened fruit, and it's easy to understand. That does not mean the subject matter of Bhagavatam is less important than the Vedas, or very elementary. Therefore, it is easy to understand. No, it is because it is the natural commentary of the Vedanta Sutra. Uh, It is the natural tendency of the soul to be in devotional service to the Lord. So this impersonal thing, impersonal realization, very uh, unnatural for the living entity. That's why Krishna says, "Kleshodhikatarastesham avyaktasakta chetasam avyaktahi gatir dukkham dehavatra." 12:5 of Bhagavad Gita. For those whose minds are attached to the unmanifested impersonal feature of the Supreme, advancement is very troublesome. To make progress in that discipline is always difficult for those who are embodied because it's very unnatural. So that's why it is like that. And in another place also, you know, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu himself projected him. We have read, done this in Chaitanya Charitamrita. We have read Guru More Murkho Dekhi. Yeah. Adi 7.71. Actually, this whole conversation between Prakashananda Saraswati and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is very illuminating. And we can see this one. You see, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, प्रभु कहे सुनो श्रीपाद इहार कारण गुरु मोरे मूर्खो देखी करिलो शासन. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu replied to Prakashananda Saraswati, "My dear sir, kindly hear the reason. My spiritual master considered me a fool and therefore he chastised me." So the question by Prakashananda Saraswati was, see, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, actually his name was Krishna Chaitanya. So see, you have taken sannyas and you are only 24 years old. I see that you're not very mature because a sannyasi should be very grave, not emotional, and you should not associate with worldly minded people, especially grihasthas. And you should be always studying the Vedas, Vedanta, part. You should always be studying Vedanta. But I see you are not studying anything. You are just dancing and singing, like in a very emotional mood and all these things. Why are you involving yourself in worldly activities and associating with other grihasthas who are worldly people? Why? So I feel you are giving a bad name to sannyas itself. So why are you not touching the Vedas? So then Chaitanya Mahaprabhu replied, kindly hear the reason. My spiritual master considered me a fool and therefore he chastised me. So purport. When Prakashananda Saraswati inquired from Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu why he neither studied Vedanta nor performed meditation, Lord Chaitanya presented himself as a number one fool in order to indicate that the present age, Kali Yuga, is an age of fools and rascals in which it is not possible to obtain perfection simply by reading Vedanta philosophy and meditating. The Shastras strongly recommend Harer Nama Eva Kevalam Kalau Nasteva Gatiranyatha. 1721 Adilila Chaitanya Charitamrita. In this age of quarrel and hypocrisy, the only means of deliverance is the chanting of the holy names of the Lord. There is no other way, there is no other way, there is no other way. People in general in Kali Yuga are so fallen that it is not possible for them to obtain perfection simply by studying the Vedanta Sutra. One should therefore seriously take to the constant chanting of the holy name of the Lord. So we'll read further down. You see, Murkho tumi, tomar nahik Vedanta adhikar, Krishna mantra japa sada, ei mantra sar. You are a fool, he said. You are not qualified to study Vedanta philosophy. And therefore you must always chant the holy name of Krishna. This is the essence of all mantras or Vedic hymns. Purport. Sri Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Goswami Maharaj comments in this connection. Quote, one can become perfectly successful in the mission of his life if he acts exactly according to the words he hears from the mouth of his spiritual master. Unquote. This acceptance of the words of the spiritual master is called Shravatavakya, which indicates that the disciple must carry out the spiritual master's instructions without deviation. Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur remarks in this connection that a disciple must accept the words of his spiritual master as his life and soul. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu here confirms this by saying that since his spiritual master ordered him only to chant the holy name of Krishna, he always chanted the Hare Krishna Mahamantra according to this direction: Krishna mantra japa sada a mantra sar. Krishna is the origin of everything, therefore our only sorry. Krishna is the origin of everything, therefore when a person is fully Krishna conscious, it is to be understood that his relationship with Krishna has been fully confirmed. Lacking Krishna consciousness, one is only partially related with Krishna and is therefore not in his constitutional position. Although Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna, the Spiritual Master of the entire universe, he nevertheless took the position of a disciple in order to teach by example how a devotee should strictly follow the orders of a spiritual master in executing the duty of always chanting the Hare Krishna Mahamantra. One who is very much attached to the study of Vedanta philosophy must take lessons from Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. See, whoever want to study Vedanta. In this age, no one is actually competent to study Vedanta, and therefore it is better that one chant the holy name of the Lord, which is the essence of all Vedic knowledge, as Krishna himself confirms in the Bhagavad Gita. Vedaishta sarvairahameva vedyo vedanta krit veda videva chaham. By all the Vedas, I am to be known. Indeed, I am the compiler of Vedanta and I am the knower of the Vedas. So only fools give up the service of the spiritual master and think themselves advanced in spiritual knowledge. In order to check such fools, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu himself presented the perfect example of how to be a disciple. A spiritual master knows very well how to engage each disciple in a particular duty, but if a disciple thinking himself more advanced than his spiritual master gives up his orders and acts independently, he checks his own spiritual progress. So, anyway, this is about the relationship between disciple and spiritual master, but this is how we have to have implicit faith in the words of the Guru and Krishna, and then only the Vedanta philosophy will be automatically revealed to us. Ihayasya Harer Dasyam. No, not this one. What is that? Yasya deve parabhaktir yatha deve tatha gurao tasyete katitha hi artha prakashante mahatmanah. Mahatma, one second. Hare Krishna. Yes, yes. Oh, ah. Mm-hmm. Okay. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Is it? That's good. Sorry, because it was from the hospital. So everything is all right. The surgery went as planned. Just that it took a little bit longer. He's still not conscious yet. So many tubes inside connected to him. So I think looks like they will remove the tubes and all that only tomorrow. They said this thing operation went as planned, but the recovery is equally as crucial. They will have to. So these few days from here is very crucial as well. So that's what the actually it's Radha Priya Mataji, who's also a nurse, who went there. And so she just called and found out. That's why I had to. Usually I don't take calls during the class, but this was a very important issue. Sorry for that. Anyway, it is a relief. Otherwise, today was a very long day. It was just not. The day was just not passing. There's a lot of anxiety. At least good. So let's see. So we'll continue. So we were saying yesterday parabhaktir yatha deve tatha gurau tasyete katitha hi artha prakashante mahatmana. So Vedanta philosophy, if you have to understand, we have to have implicit faith in the Guru and Krishna. So that's why here, although Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, "Oh, my Guru said that I don't have any adhikar for Vedanta," you see, but my Guru Maharaj ordered me to chant Hare Krishna Mahamantra, and that's why I'm chanting. So in other words, in Kali Yuga, actually nobody has any intelligence to understand Vedanta. Therefore, Hare Krishna Mahamantra is the way to go, because all the Vedas are summarized in this one mantra. Vidya Vadhu Jivanam. It is the life of all transcendental knowledge. So just by chanting, one can easily make progress. And the Guru must order to chant. So then we can follow the order and become successful. But still, we need philosophy, right? We can't just chant and without any philosophy. So for that, there is Bhagavad Gita, which is part of the Mahabharata. That is also for the less intelligent class of men. Because Arjuna understood it in 1 hour. We are whole life we cannot understand. Still, not going beyond second chapter of understanding. Not understood. We have not the body yet. So this is the dull manda sumanda matayo manda bhagya upadruta. So very dull-headed. So therefore, Bhagavad Gita is very easy to understand, and Bhagavatam also in the form of pastimes. They are actually higher than Vedanta, because Vedanta Sutra. Vedanta means the end of knowledge. So Bhagavatam is actually the end of knowledge. Amalam Puranam. Akhila Shruti Saram. Akhila Shruti Saram, it is said in the first canto, second chapter, third verse. So although it is Akhila Shruti Saram, the essence of all scriptures, but it is very easy to understand at the same time. Although Vedanta Sutra is difficult to understand, it only indirectly explains what is the absolute truth, whereas Bhagavatam directly explains what is absolute truth. Okay? So you see here, Yasvanubhavamakila Shruti Adhyatmadipamatitirshatam tamondham samsarinam karunayaha purana guhyam tam vyasa sonumupayami gurum muninam. Akhila Shruti Saramekam. So this Akhila Shruti Saram means this Bhagavatam. All around Shruti, the Vedas, cream. The Saram means the essence, the cream. Just like the essence of milk is the cream. So like that. So in the form of stories, it is in the format of stories, it is mentioned, where the highest philosophy. So in that way, we are getting access. But even though this is the case, Bhagavad Gita, Srimad Bhagavatam, still one must need the mercy of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. See, without the mercy of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, it is very difficult again. If I'm not wrong, just a second. See, Shri Chaitanya Prabhum Vande Balopi Yadanugrahat Tarennanamatagraha Vyaptam Siddhanta Sagaram. I offer my obeisances to Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, by whose mercy even an ignorant child can swim across the ocean of conclusions or philosophy. Siddhanta Sagaram. Siddhanta means philosophy, conclusions, whatever you call it. Theories, you know, postulations, whatever you may call it. So all this is Siddhanta. So even an ignorant child can swim across the ocean of conclusions about the ultimate truth, which is full of the crocodiles of various theories. And if we see, so unless we have Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's mercy, we cannot cross over all these dangerous philosophies which keep us bound to this material world, even if we study Vedanta Sutra. So we cannot come out of that if we don't have the mercy of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. What is that? Tarko Pratishta Shrutayo Bhinna. I think 1796. Yeah. So you see, Tarko Pratishta Shrutayo Vibhinna Nasa Vrishiryasya Matam na Bhinnam Dharmasya Tattvam Nihitam Guhayam Mahajano Yena Gatah Sapantha. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu continued, dry arguments are inconclusive. A great personality whose opinion does not differ from others is not considered a great sage. Simply by studying the Vedas, which are variegated, one cannot come to the right path by which religious principles are understood. The solid truth of religious principles is hidden in the heart of an unadulterated, self-realized person. Consequently, as the Shastras confirm, one should accept whatever progressive path the Mahajans advocate. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's mercy is required, and then we have to have the Mahajan, the spiritual master, mercy. Yasya deve parabhaktir yatha deve tatha guru. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, faith in his mercy and faith in Guru's, Krishna's mercy. I mean, Srila Prabhupada's mercy. So then only we can understand all these things. You see? Of course, that whole conversation you can read, and it's very important. We have done it on the Chaitanya Charitamrita sessions. How Vedanta, they stress so much Vedanta Sutra. But Chaitanya Mahaprabhu deflected that argument towards the holy name, because ultimately the holy name is the essence of all Vedic scriptures. And I'll show you a couple of verses before we go to the next question. If you see Mukundamala Stotra, verse 31. Shatruchedaikamantram sakalamupanishadvakya sampujya mantram samsarochedamantram samuchitatamasa sangha niryana mantram sarvaishwaryaika vyasana bhujaga sandashta santrana mantram jihve Shri Krishna mantram japa japa satatam janma safalya mantram. O tongue, please constantly chant the mantra composed of Shri Krishna's names. This is the only mantra for destroying all enemies, the mantra worshipped by every word of the Upanishads. See, they are into Upanishads and Vedanta Sutra. They think this is Shruti, and Bhagavatam, Bhagavad Gita is all Smriti. It's not so important. They think like that. But the Upanishads, here it is said, Kulashekar Alwar, he is saying the mantra worshipped by every word of the Upanishads. But they cannot see, the Mayavadis, they cannot see this. Previously, Vedanta Sutra could have been easily understood, but Kali Yuga, especially Shankaracharya comes, what is that? Kalau Brahmana Rupina. He comes in a Brahmana form in the Kali Yuga. And he twists the Vedas. Then what happens? Everybody misunderstands. Uh, So the mantra worshipped by every word of the Upanishads, the mantra that uproots samsara, the mantra that drives away all the darkness of ignorance, the mantra for attaining infinite opulence, the mantra for curing those bitten by the poisonous snake of worldly distress, and the mantra for making one's birth in this world successful. How many glories of the mantra, Mahamantra are mentioned here? So many, you see. I wanted to show another verse. Yeah. You see, Sakalam Upanishad Vakya Sampujya Mantram. All the Upanishads are glorifying this, right? So let's go to this Upanishad, Ishopanishad, 18th, last mantra of Ishopanishad. Agnenaya supataraye asman vishvani deva vayunani vidvan yuyodhyasmad juhuranameno bhuyishtham te nama uktim vidhema. See, this is very important. Bhuyishtham te nama uktim vidhema. Okay? This is a prayer to the Lord. You see, Agne, oh my Lord, as powerful as fire. Of course, they will say fire, oh fire. That's why this, you see, Upanishads are so not so clear. You see, Agne. Agne means, oh Agni, Agni Dev, the demigod of fire. But here, Agne, Prabhupada translated as, oh my Lord, as powerful as fire. So, only a pure devotee would know this kind of meaning. I may say, oh, that is not direct meaning. We don't understand. You see, the Lord is actually compared to Agni. Ekadesha sthitasya agner jyotsna vistarani yatha parasya brahmana shaktir tathedam akhilam jagat. So in the Vishnu Purana it is said that ekadesha sthitasya agner. So fire sitting in one place, it is jyotsna vistarani yatha. So it is spreading heat, light, smoke, so many energies are being emanated. But heat is not fire, light is not fire, smoke is not fire. Fire is different from all these things. At the same time, they don't, smoke is not fire, but fire is not, fire includes smoke. So fire is actually a very good example to explain the Achintya Bheda Tattva. So Lord's existence is like the fire, and all the energies are simultaneously one with him and different from him. So, if you take it in that philosophy, Agne, oh my Lord, as powerful as fire. Of course, Agnir Dahati Madbhayat, Surya Stapati Madbhayat. Krishna says, even the sun, which is a huge globe of fire, normal fire is nothing compared to sun. Surya Stapati Madbhayat, oh my Lord, as powerful as fire. Fire is not as powerful as the Lord. How can you say as powerful as fire? The greatest fire. The original, real, unlimited fire. The sun, Surya Stapati Madbhayat. Krishna is saying the sun burns like a big ball of fire only due to fear of me. Yad bibhedi swayam bhayam. Fear itself fears Krishna. Now, what to speak of as powerful as fire only. So these are just to give us an example, just like among the animals, I am the lion. That means, is he as powerful as a lion? Or as powerful as many trillions of lions? Unlimited number of lions. So it is just to give us something which we can understand, something which is very powerful in this world, to give us the idea of power of the Lord. So anyway, that was not the point of this showing this verse. Agne Naya, kindly lead. Supatha, patha means path. Dharmasya tattvam nihitam guhayam mahajano yena gatah sa pantha. Pantha and patha, same thing. Pantha means path, patha means also path. So supatha means the right path. So teach me the right path, O Lord, for reaching you, Raye, for reaching you, Asman, for us to reach you. Vishwani Deva, Vishwani, Vishwa means the universe, Vishwani means plural. Of all Vishwas, of all universes, you are the Lord. And everything within the universe, everything. Vayunani Vidwan, kindly Yuyodhi Asmat, Juhurana Meno, remove all the hindrances on the path, and Enaha, all these vices which hinder the path. Bhuishtham, most numerous unto you, Nama Uktim, words of obeisance. Nama Uktim, words of obeisance. So when these words of obeisance can be the Mahamantra, all the shlokas which pray to the Lord, offering him obeisance. What is the Hare Krishna Mahamantra? It is saying, Oh Radha, Oh Krishna, please engage me in your service. Please accept my obeisances and engage me in your service. So that is Nama Uktim. So Sakalam Upanishad Vakya Sampujya Mantram. So here Nama Uktim, Namaha Uktim. Nama means name, Nama means respect. So Nama Uktim, words of obeisance. So holy name is also included here. So in this way, our for Kali Yuga, our study of Vedanta will be through the holy name and Bhagavad Gita, Srimad Bhagavatam, Chaitanya Charitamrita. These things will be our um, you know entrance into the Vedanta philosophy. All right, I think I hope that answers to an extent. I think there are many other verses. Prabhu would have shown a lot more verses, but I'm not so intelligent. I know a little bit whatever he showed. Okay, so Subala Prabhu is asking CC Adi 7.102. However, we are advised to study Vedanta. Okay, let's see 7.102. इत सुनि हास्य प्रभु भलिला वचन दुखना मानः यदि करि निवेदन. After hearing the Mayavadi sannyasi speak in this way, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu smiled slightly and said, My dear sirs, if you don't mind, I can say something to you regarding Vedanta philosophy. Mayavadi sannyasi, appreciating Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, inquired from him why he did not discuss Vedanta philosophy. Actually, however, the entire system of Vaishnava activities is based on Vedanta philosophy. That is true. Vedanta Veda Videva Chaham, Vedanta Krit Veda Videva Chaham. So, to understand Vedanta means to understand the end of knowledge, and that is Krishna, because he is the source of everything, and we are now seeing that everything, a little of that everything, and then through this everything we have to come back, and our end of quest of knowledge will be back to the source where everything actually emanated from. So Vedanta, the end of knowledge, is the origin of everything. Just like when there is a disease, right? There will be symptoms because of the disease. There will be symptoms because of the disease. Now, we don't see the cause of the disease. We can't see the virus. That is actually the origin of the disease. But we see the symptoms. And then diagnosis happens. So when the diagnosis happens, what they do? They check the body and then they check all the symptoms, and then they come to the conclusion back to the source, actually what caused this. So when the diagnosis happens, then they actually find out the cause of the problem. So although the cause happened first, we see the effect first. And from the effect, we try to trace back to the cause. And at the end, we will reach the cause, which was actually the beginning. It's not the end. So that's why it's called, Krishna is called Vedanta, because he is the origin of everything. But for us, that will be the end of our quest for knowledge. So So a Vaishnava, by chanting Hare Krishna, he's already have studied everything. Devahuti said in the Srimad Bhagavatam 3:33:7. The one who's chanting the holy name of Krishna already has studied the Vedas, did all tapasya, went to all the holy places of pilgrimage, bathed in the sacred rivers, met with all sadhus, everything he has done already. Only then he can come to the point of chanting Hare Krishna. See? So, actually, however, reading the purport again, actually, however, the entire system of Vaishnava activities is based on Vedanta philosophy. Vaishnavas do not neglect Vedanta, but they do not care to understand Vedanta on the basis of the Shariraka Bhashya commentary. Therefore, to clarify the situation, Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, with the permission of the Mayavadi sannyasis, wanted to speak regarding Vedanta philosophy. The Vaishnavas are by far the greatest philosophers in the world, and the greatest among them was Srila Jiva Goswami Prabhu, whose philosophy was again presented less than 400 years later by Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur Maharaj. Therefore, one must know very well that Vaishnava philosophers are not sentimentalists or cheap devotees like the Sahajiyas. All the Vaishnava acharyas were vastly learned scholars who understood Vedanta philosophy fully, for unless one knows Vedanta philosophy, he cannot be an acharya. To be accepted as an acharya among Indian transcendentalists who follow the Vedic principles, one must become a vastly learned scholar in Vedanta philosophy either by studying it or by hearing it. So, here, bhakti develops in persons with Vedanta philosophy. So, here, the question is here Vedanta philosophy study is encouraged. So, the thing is, by studying Bhagavad Gita, Srimad Bhagavatam, and chanting the holy name Hare Krishna, one comes to the point of the end of knowledge. And we are end of knowledge. See, when we understand that Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, then we act on that knowledge. We only can act on our convictions. If my conviction is, yes, drink, marry, enjoy, and womanize, and this is our gamble and eating meat, if this is my conviction of the happiness of life, I will follow that. My actions will be based on that conviction. It may not be, it is not a fact, but we don't work on facts. We work on our our conviction. Whatever we have been fed and however we have been convinced, we think that is the truth. So we act on our convictions. So sangat sanjayate kamaha, kamad krodho vijayate. So by association we get our convictions and then we act accordingly. Now, if we are convinced that Krishna is the supreme, I am his servant, then only I will be acting on that conviction, serving the Lord, chanting his name. So one who is chanting has already been convinced of the Vedanta, the end of knowledge, and he's already engaged on that platform. Brahmanya Upasamashrayam. He's not just like a seeker and then he understood and then he's speculating about it. No. Yeah? He has understood and he's already acting on that platform. So that is a much higher, because after understanding, what are you going to do? Just sit down. Oh, I understood. That's it. No, understand. If you really understood that we are a servant, then we have to understand that we have to serve. If we have not understood that we have to serve, we have not understood that we are the servant and he is the supreme master. That means I still have the propensity to become a master. That means I haven't understood. If I really understand, I will engage in service. So that is the point. And if we just read Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavatam, although it is for less intelligent people, that does not mean the philosophy is less. No. Shankaracharya, although he presented Mayavadi philosophy, he wrote this Gita Mahatmya. And in that, the 6th verse, he said, Sarvopanishado gavo dogdha gopalanandanaha partho vatsaha sudhir bhokta dugdham gitamritam mahat. Just like Bhagavatam says, Akhila Shruti Saram, Sarva Vedanta Saram hi. Another verse I will show you before we go to the Gita Mahatmya verse. You see this, Sarva Vedanta Saram hi. 12, 13, 15. You see, Sarva Vedanta Saram hi Shri Bhagavatam ishyate tad rasamrita triptasya nanyatra syad ratih kvachit. Srimad Bhagavatam is declared to be the essence of all Vedanta philosophy. One who has felt satisfaction from its nectarian mellow will never be attracted to any other literature. Kim va parairishvara sadyo hridya varudhate trakatibhi sushrusubhistakshanat. Srimad Bhagavatam, what is that? 112. In the second verse, Dharma projita kaitavotra parama nirmatsaranam satam vedya vastavamastra vastu shivadam tapatrayon moolanam Srimad Bhagavate Mahamuni krite kim va parairishvara sadyo hridya varudhyate trakativastu shushrusubhistakshanat. Same. Kim va parairishvara. What is the need of any other scripture if there is Bhagavatam written by Vyasadeva? So all these verses point to this thing. This is actually the 19 syllable verse, like Shat Goswami Ashtakam. Shardula Vikridita Chanda. But I just chanted fast. So you see here, completely rejecting all religious activities which are materially motivated, this Bhagavad Puran propounds the highest truth, which is understandable by those devotees who are fully pure in heart. The highest truth is reality distinguished from illusion for the welfare of all. Such truth uproots the threefold miseries. This beautiful Bhagavatam, compiled by the great sage Vyasadeva in his maturity, is sufficient in itself for God realization. What is the need of any other scripture? As soon as one attentively and submissively hears the message of the Bhagavatam, by this culture of knowledge, the Supreme Lord is established within his heart. And that's what we want from all our Vedanta philosophy. What is the use of Vedanta philosophy if we cannot, that verse is there. Aradhito yadi haris tapasa tatah kim, naradhito yadi haris tapasa tatah kim, antar bahir yadi haris tapasa tatah kim, nantar bahir yadi haris tapasa tatah kim. What is the use of tapasya if you are already worshipping Krishna? And if after doing all tapasya or Vedanta study or whatever, all these activities, pious activities, if we do them and if we don't end up worshipping Hari or Krishna, what is the use of that study? And if you're already worshipping Krishna, what is the use of the study? And if we can realize that the Lord is inside and outside of everything, what is the use of study? You already reached the essence of all studies. And if after all studies we did not come to the conclusion of that the Supreme Lord is inside and outside of everything, what is the use of our study? And tapasya and all these things. So, just by, and Sarva, this Gita Mahatmya, in the introduction of Bhagavad Gita, this is mentioned. Sarvopanishado Gavo. Very nicely explained. Sarvopanishado Gavo. Now, all the Upanishads, Sarva Upanishado Gavo. Gavo means cow. So, all the Upanishads are likened to a cow, compared to a cow. Now, Dogdha, milkman. Who is the milkman? Gopalanandanaha. Gopal means Krishna, but Gopal also means Nanda Maharaj. Because Gopal means what? One who takes care of the cows. And all the cowherd boys, all the cowherd men of Vrindavan can be called Gopal in that sense. Anybody who takes care of the cow is called Gopalaka. Palak means to take care of it. Not Palak Paneer. We're talking about. No. Gopala. So Gopala Nandana means the son of Gopal, son of Nanda Maharaj, who is Krishna, Dogdha. He is the milkman who is milking the cow of the Vedas, all the Upanishads. Partho Vatsaha. Arjuna is the calf. Why Arjuna is the calf? Sudhir Bhokta. He is taking in all this knowledge, this Dugdham, who means the milk. Gita Amritam Mahat, the nectarian milk of the Gita, Bhagavad Gita, is taken by Arjuna, the calf, through his intelligence, not by the mouth. Intelligence, through the ears. Shrutekshita. Now, importance, why Arjuna is Vatsaha, or what is this, calf? Because only when the calf is there, then the cow will give milk. If Arjuna was not there asking questions and being in total bewilderment, Krishna would not have answered. And anyway, Arjuna is with Krishna. He actually knows everything. Through the agency of Arjuna, we are getting the Gita knowledge, Bhagavad Gita. Just like through the agency of the calf, the cow produces milk because the calf takes birth. But because of that, of course, the cow will give more milk than is necessary for the calf, and then that milk we can, enjoy. So similarly, we can now enjoy the nectarian milk of the Bhagavad Gita taken from the cows of the Upanishads and Vedas. And Krishna is the milkman, and agency of deriving the milk is the calf is Arjuna. So you see how all the Upanishads, the essence is Bhagavad Gita. And it is called Gita Upanishad. It is also Upanishad. See, there is this verse, what is that? Yamuna is 100 times more purifying than Ganga. Because Krishna personally had his pastimes. Although Ganga is also coming from the feet of the Lord, lotus feet. Krishna took personal interest in Yamuna and he did so many pastimes there, and therefore Yamuna is 100 times more purifying than Ganga. So similarly, although Vedanta Krit, Krishna only composed the Vedas. What is that? Veda Purana Kalila. Maya Mugdha Jiver Nahi Swatah Krishna Gyan. Maya Mugdha Jiver Nahi Swatah Krishna Gyan. Jiver Kripaya Kaila Krishna Veda Puran. Krishna, he is the one who compiled the Vedanta and Vedas and Puranas, everything. In the form of Vyasadeva. Bhagavad Gita also it declares Vedanta Krit, Veda Videva Chaham. I compiled Vedas. Yes. But when that, if a author has written a book, and now that author is actually speaking about the essence of that book, should I take his version of that essence, or somebody else who is commenting and misunderstood the book and giving his commentary? Whom should I listen to? Of course, the author. So Krishna says, I wrote the Vedas, and now that I am the speaker, I am now speaking this Bhagavad Gita. And I'm speaking very confidential knowledge, Arjuna. Rahasyam hi etaduttamam. Rahasyam, secret. I'm talking very confidential stuff. So that is more important than all the Vedas. In fact, Unmanifested Prabhu from China, when he made the Zakir Naik video, rebutting Zakir Naik, he quoted one verse. I did not memorize that verse. I wanted to memorize, but he said that verse says that the Smriti is even more important than the Shruti. Although the Mayavadis say Shruti is more important than Smriti, here it says Smriti is more important than Shruti because whatever statements the Shrutis proclaim, the Smriti demonstrates that. In the class of chemistry, if we learn H2 plus O2 is equal to 2H2 plus O2 equal to 2H2O. It transforms into 2H2O. That means hydrogen and oxygen mixing become water. Equation we can write on paper. But to actually see it demonstrated in a laboratory, the two gases mix and then the water droplets form in the test tube. That is a realization. Oh wow, yes, that is actually a demonstration of it. So the sa aikshata, sa asirjata, for example, Vedanta Sutra states sa aikshata, sa asirjata. He saw the Supreme Lord. Saw, he glanced over the creation and the creation happened. You see? So that is a statement. Now, how he did it, that detail is there in the Bhagavatam. You see how the whole creation happened from absolute zero to everything. So in this way, these are only demonstration, practical demonstrations, or you know, examples of those statements that are proclaimed in the Vedas. So in this way, understanding Vedanta will automatically happen for devotees. Solid. I think we have a lot more questions. I understand. Um, okay, so let's see if we have. Okay. Subal Prabhu is saying there are different grades of Vaishnavas. I cannot show the comment on the screen, right? I think I can't. Maybe. Anyway, I'll just read it. So there are different grades of Vaishnavas: Kanishta Adhikari, Madhyama Adhikari, Uttama Adhikari. But to be a Madhyama Adhikari preacher, one must be a learned scholar in Vedanta Sutra and other Vedic literatures, because when Bhakti Yoga develops on the basis of Vedanta philosophy, it is factual and ready. In this connection, we may quote the translation purport of the verse mentioned above, 1 to 12. Yes, surely. So we are not. So if you go to that verse, 1 to 12, since so we are not against the study of Vedanta, but not by reading the Shankaracharya's philosophy. We will read the natural commentary. Why the twisted commentary of Shankaracharya? We will read the natural commentary. Hmm. 1 second. 1 to 12. I should show you that verse about the natural commentary. Garuda Puran states this. Although Sharirika Bhashya is a Bhashya, but there are many other Bhashyas, and why not take the natural Bhashya? Natural commentary means the commentary by the author instead of commentary by somebody else. So that is called natural commentary. So anyway, he is quoting this verse. So Tachriddha Munayo, Jnana Vairagya Yuktaya, Pashyantyatmani Chatmanam Bhaktya Shrutagrahitaya. The seriously inquisitive student or sage, well equipped with knowledge and detachment, realizes that absolute truth by rendering devotional service in terms of what he has heard from the Vedanta Shruti. Again, so Shruti Smriti Purana Pancharatar Vidham Vina Aikantiki Harer Bhakti Utpatayaiva Kalpate. So we will only take those aspects of the Vedas which are especially beneficial for one's ultimate goal of life. Just to show you one verse here and the purport, very important though. So this is 1:4:13 of Srimad Bhagavatam. Tatsarvam nah samachakshva prishto yad iha kinchana manye tvam vishaye vacham snatam anyatra chandasat. The Shaunak Rishi, along with all the sages at Naimisharanya, were saying to Suta Goswami, who is the speaker, Shaunak Rishi, representing all of them, glorified Suta Goswami in this way. But you see, it sounds like a bit of a criticism. You see, we know that you are expert in the meaning of all subjects except some portions of the Vedas. And thus you can clearly explain the answers to all the questions we have just put to you. But hey, if you don't know some portion of the Vedas, how can you explain all the answers? So this requires explanation, right? How come they're saying you are accept some portion, you don't know some portions? That means, what is the meaning? Okay, purport. The difference between the Vedas and the Puranas is like that between the Brahmanas and the Parivrajakas. Parivrajakas means the preachers, traveling preachers. A very nice example, comparison. Difference between Vedas and Puranas is like that between Brahmanas and Parivrajakas. The Brahmanas are meant to administer some fruitive sacrifices mentioned in the Vedas, but the Parivrajaka Acharyas or learned preachers are meant to disseminate transcendental knowledge to one and all. As such, the Parivrajaka Acharyas are not always expert in pronouncing the Vedic mantras. They may not be expert in pronouncing the Vedic mantras, which are practiced systematically by accent and meter by the Brahmanas, who are meant for administering Vedic rites. You know, what is that? Like Purusha Sukta, they chant Om Sahasrashirsha Purushah Sahasrakshah Sahasrapat Sabhomim Vishwato Vritva Atyatishthad Dashangulam. These kind of intonation, I mean the intonations, up, where to go up. Purushah Evedagam Sarvam, Sarvam, the double up. So all these, the metrical way of chanting, that is done by the Karmakandiya Brahmanas, and you have to chant very systematically, perfectly for Karmakandas. But for understanding devotional service, you don't have to be that expert, but you have to try your best, of course. It's not that, you don't have to very good, I'll just chant anyhow, whatever I can, whatever I can chant, I will chant, even if it sounds horrible, whatever. I should put my best effort. And if after my best effort, it sounds not so perfect, that's Bhavagrahi Janardhan. Bhavagrahi Janardhan. He accepts our mood, Krishna. Does not accept our how well we pronounced. But of course, we must. Bhava means how much bhava I have for Krishna. If one has bhava, he wants to pronounce nicely as he can. He will take all efforts to pronounce nicely, but as much as he can. Some people just can't. I mean, after some, like for Chinese, I see the way they pronounce Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Lama, Lama Lama, Hare Hare. It sounds funny, but that's the best they are trying. Their language is like that, their upbringing is like that, but they are trying. So that's what Krishna accepts. Of course, there is another verse for that in Chaitanya Bhagavat. We are going verse by verse everywhere. But let's finish this purport. It's very important, very, very important purport. So, Parivrajaka acharyas are not always expert in pronouncing the Vedic mantras, which are practiced systematically by accent and meter by the Brahmanas, who are meant for administrating Vedic rites. Yet it should not be considered that the Brahmanas are more important than the itinerant preachers. They are one and different simultaneously because they're meant for the same end in different ways. It's not that, by Vedic rites also I will go back to Godhead. This one also. No. By Vedic rites, eventually I may become pious enough to associate with sadhus, and then I may start my spiritual life. So ultimately it's in that same, but they are much lower, actually. But the end is same, therefore, for that reason it should be like Vedas. Some parts of the Vedas are, allowing for meat eating in a restricted way. But that's not for the persons who have become Vaishnavas, but that's for those who people in the mode of ignorance to slowly come to the mode of passion, then goodness, and then finally have the opportunity, have a more likelihood of having the opportunity to meet the sadhus, and then eventually coming to bhakti. So in that way, the end is same. But it's not that, these are two different paths to the same goal. No. It ultimately is a tributary to the main river of bhakti, which goes towards the ocean of Krishna, Karuna Sindhu. So anyway, coming back here, there is no difference between the Vedic mantras and what is explained in the Puranas and Itihasas. According to Srila Jiva Goswami, it is mentioned in the Madhyandina Shruti that all the Vedas, namely the Sama, Atharva, Rig, and Yajur, Puranas, Itihasas, Upanishads, etc., are emanations from the breathing of the Supreme Being. The only differences are that the Vedic mantras mostly begin with Pranava Omkar, and that it requires some training to pronounce the metrical accent, without which the mantras cannot be successfully chanted. So the Karmakandya mantras, they must be chanted with proper metrical, these things, proper meter and accent and everything, without which the mantras cannot be successfully chanted. Although Srila Sutta Goswami was a preacher of the first order, that means a first class preacher, he did not bother much about the metrical pronunciation of the Vedic mantras. But that does not mean that Srimad Bhagavatam is of less importance than the Vedic mantras. On the contrary, it is the ripened fruit of all the Vedas, as stated before. Nigama kalpataror galitam phalamidam. Galitam phalam. Sukamukhadan amrita dravasamyutam. So, Nigama kalpataror galitam phalam. 113, Srimad Bhagavatam. Ripened fruit. Besides that, the most perfectly liberated soul, Srila Sukadeva Goswami, is absorbed in the studies of the Srimad Bhagavatam, although he is already self-realized, Atmarama. Srila Sutta Goswami is following his footsteps, and therefore his position is not the least less important because He was not expert in chanting Vedic mantras with metric pronunciation, which depends more on practice than actual realization. You see, so many people, priests, they do Om, what is that? Om Keshvaya Namaha, Om Narayana Namaha, Om Madhavan. In fact, when I come from a Smarta Brahmin family. So when I used to do the Sandhya Vandana as a boy, so we used to put, Shaivite Tilak, 3. But, how we used to put Tilak, Vibhuti, put some water and then, do paste. And then take with 3 lines like this. Om Keshvaya Namaha, Om Narayana Namaha. What is this? Keshvaya Namaha is for Vishnu. Why I am doing this one? So they are taking all Vishnu mantras and then doing their parrot like chanting without any realization. If I at all understand, I am chanting Om Keshvaya Namaha, Om Narayana Namaha, Om Madhva. These are Krishna's names, Vishnu's names. Why am I, putting like a Shaivite? What is this? No, then they say, oh, Vishnu and Shiva are all same. That is offensive. Offensive. There's so many statements pointing to that. Yastu Narayanam Devam Brahmarudradi Devateh. Samatvena eva viksheta sa pashandi bhave dhruvam. He's an atheist who considers Shiva and Krishna same. Shiva is a devotee of Krishna, the greatest devotee. But he's not same as Krishna. It's an offense. So these people don't understand. No realization, simply chanting. So realization is more important than parrot-like chanting. This is the ultimate point here. Of course, there is Chaitanya Bhagavat verses are there. Let's see if we can. Murkho Vishnaya. मूर्ख बोले विष्णाय विष्णवे बोले धीरा द्विवाक्य परिग्रह करे कृष्ण वीरा. Okay. This is from the Varaha Purana. Which Purana is this? Let's see. Anyway, this verse is quoted. I don't know where it is from, but Chaitanya Bhagavat Adikhanda 11th chapter 108th verse. Murkho vadati Vishnaya dhiro vadati Vishnave ubhayostu samam punyam bhavagrahi janardana. This is the verse, bhavagrahi janardana. So at the time of offering obeisances to Lord Vishnu, a foolish person chants Vishnaya, Om Vishnaya Namaha, like Om Krishnaya Namaha. That is correct. But Vishnu ending with U becomes Vishnave. Om Vishnave Namaha, not Vishnaya Namaha. Krishna ending with A becomes Aya. Ending with U becomes Ave. So these are Sanskrit grammar. So a foolish person who does not know the grammar, he may chant Om Vishnaya Namaha. This is improper due to faulty grammar. And a learned person chants Vishnave Namaha. This is correct form. But both achieve equal piety by their offering of obeisances because Lord Sri Janardhan sees the sentiment of the living being. In other words, he sees the degree of devotion, or in other words, he awards the result accordingly. He does not see one's foolishness or intelligence. That's why he said, even the low-born women, Vaishya, Sudras, everybody can come to me. I don't see whether they're foolish, intelligent, less born, or less intelligent. No. Devotion, degree of devotion. Kunti Devi offered beautiful prayers. Radharani is a woman. Sita Devi is a woman. You mean they're less intelligent? Rukmini is less intelligent. Devotion. And they're more intelligent than any sannyasi. I mean, even though they're women. Right? So, मूर्खो वदति विष्णाय धीरो वदति विष्णवे उभयोस्तु समम पुण्यम भावग्राही जनार्दन. So Subramaniam is asking, Prabhu, in this life somebody takes to devotional service. Does it mean that in his past life he must have studied the Vedanta Sutra? He may or may not have studied. But by the mercy of a pure devotee, he takes to the highest. And it is deemed that he has already passed the study of Vedas. He does not have to undergo that laborious journey of studying the Vedas. Now, of course, it is said that those who engage in this pious activities of studying Vedas, tapasya, charity, and all these things, then Shuchinam Srimatam Gehe Yoga Bhrashto Vijayate. It is there that those who have fallen down after some practice of yoga, either less or more, they will take birth in elevated families and continue from where they left off, surely. But there is also Kripa Siddhi, which is just by the Kripa of the you know saintly person. Just like Narad Muni, he was a Shudrani's son, and nobody knew who his father was. That means Prabhupada in one lecture he said that means if there's no mention of his father, that means she would have been sleeping with many women also. That kind of woman he became son of. There's no mention of the father. Only he was 5-year-old boy. His mother was there. That's like single mother. And nowadays very common. But you see, this is the thing. And even though he was so low born, that kind of parentage, he kripa siddhi. When he met the Bhaktivedantas, he became pure devotee. And Narad Muni himself, when he became pure devotee, he delivered that Mrigari. What piety did that Mrigari do? He was killing, he was the worst sinner of all. Nityananda Prabhu similarly, Jagai Madhai. Papi tapi jata chilo hariname uddharilo tar sakshi Jagai Madhai. So when the pure devotee or Krishna shows especially special favor, then they can, even the worst sinner can be delivered. Of course, he should not repeat that sin again. The Mrigari did not repeat, Narad Muni did not repeat any more sin, and even this Jagan Madha did not repeat. That is the condition. But he can deliver him. So whether they are Vedanta, they have studied Vedanta Sutra, it is immaterial. What we're going to do, whether we studied or not, what can we do about it? We can't do much about it, but we can do something in the present. Some modern people, they say, oh, modern motivational people, don't worry about the past. It is already over. We cannot change it. So don't think about the past. And don't think about the future. It has not yet come. And all the future will depend on your actions in the present. So just worry about the present. That is a little bit stupid. Because from past, whatever mistakes or whatever good things other people have done, I have done, whatever, I can learn. Puran means old, history. Itihasa, Ramayana, Mahabharata is Itihasa, means history. Puran means history. Our whole subject matter is history. Chaitanya Charitamrita is history. So we are only delving on the past. But we're delving on those timeless portions, timeless incidents of the past, which have timeless lessons. That means the lessons that are to be learned are eternal, timeless. They are always relevant, evergreen. So, from past we can learn. And then, because there is a pattern, a recurrence pattern, so cause and effect. So, to understand the cause, we are only seeing effects now. To understand the cause, so there is a past. So, this cause and effect. So, what is, ultimately the cause of everything? And in the future, the effect will be according to, just like my present is according to my past activities. So my future will be according to my present activities. So it is a pattern. So pattern recognition happens by studying the past. And with that we can, project the future. And we know which path to take to get which future. If we are booking a ticket to go to India, or maybe many of you are from India, maybe say London or whatever it is, or you want to come to Singapore, you have to, when you're booking, that means you're preparing for the future, you're thinking about future, and you are buying that particular plane's ticket because of the plane's history. Oh, this plane looks like all safe, every time they reach their destination. Okay, so there is confidence. If there has been history that Boeing 737, went down, that Malaysian Airlines, oh, boy, that means something is happening with Boeing 737. So I will not take a flight which is Boeing 737. Of course, now they banned everything. But by past, we will take decisions about the future, and the decisions are taken now, but you're taking for the future. So if you're booking ticket, that you are doing now, but you're planning for the future. You are only doing because you want to get a result in the future. So how do you know this activity will give this result? Unless you know that in the past that sort of activity gave that kind of result, and this sort of activity gave this result, and then only I know this sort of activity I have to do to get that result. So it is not that past is happened and forget the past. The future is not there. Forget the future. Just live in the present. Live like an animal. Animals are doing that. They are not worrying about the past. They are not worrying about the future. I want food. They are just getting food. A lion is hunting. Tiger is hunting. They just want hungry. I am now hungry. I have to. I see food there. I will just go. That is their understanding of life. So this kind of hedonistic understanding is nonsense. So that's what we have to understand. Quran, Itikas, these are all very valuable lessons. All right, so yeah, I mean, just to summarize the answer of Subramaniam Prabhu's question, does it mean that in his past life he must have studied the Vedas? So we know one thing, but that even if we are completely pious, unless we get the mercy of this pure devotee, Guru Krishna Prasada Pai Bhakti Lata Bij, without the mercy of Guru and Krishna, we cannot get, even if we are pious. And even if we are impious, we can, if by the mercy of Guru, we can. And let's see couple of verses in that connection before we go to the next question. I think I've typed it wrong. No. Okay, first this verse. What is this? Why I'm getting a call? I'm sorry, I'm getting a call. I don't understand who is calling me. I can't even see anything. Just a second. It's Mahaprabhu from the hospital. Okay, so so you see this verse. किरात होणांध्र पुलिंद पुल्कषा आभीर शुंभा यवना खसादयः येन्ये च पापा यदपाश्रयाश्रयाः शुध्यन्ति तस्मै प्रभविष्णवे नमः. Kiratas, Hunas, Andhras, Pulindas, Pulkashas, Abhiras, Shumbhas, Yavanas, members of the Khasa races, and even others addicted to sinful acts, Krishna. Others addicted to sinful acts can be purified by taking shelter of the devotees of the Lord due to his being the supreme power. I beg to offer my respectful obeisances unto him. So, did we read Vedanta Sutra in our past lives? Well, these people have not read. Addicted, not just performing sinful, addicted to sinful acts. Another verse, beautiful verse. This is Okay, let's go to first this one by Hanuman. 519.7. This is by Hanuman himself. न जन्मनूनं महतो न सौभगं न वान्न बुद्धिर्न कृतिस्तोष हेतुः तैर्यद्विसृष्टानपि नो वनौकसश् चकार सख्ये बत लक्ष्मणाग्रजः. One cannot establish a friendship with the Supreme Lord Ramachandra on the basis of material qualities such as one's birth in an aristocratic family, one's personal beauty, one's eloquence, one's sharp intelligence, or one's superior race or nation. None of these qualifications is actually a prerequisite for friendship with Lord Sri Ramachandra. Otherwise, how is it possible that although we uncivilized inhabitants of the forests have not taken noble births, although we have no physical beauty, and although we cannot speak like gentlemen, Lord Ramachandra has nevertheless accepted us as friends? So they were not Vedanta Vidwans. No, they were not. So another verse. This is from the 11th or 12th canto. Let's see. 11, 12, 3 to 6. This is the verse. Satsangena hi daiteya yatu dhana mrigaah khagaah gandharvapsaraso nagaah siddhascharana guhyakaah vidyadhara manusyeshu vaishyaah shudраः striyontajaah rajastamah prakritayastasmin yuge yuge bahavo matpadam praptas त्वाष्ट्रकायाधवादयः वृषपर्वा बलिर्बाणो मयश्चाथ विभीषणः सुग्रीवो हनुमान् वृक्षो गजो गृध्रो वणिक्पथः व्याधः कुब्जा व्रजे गोप्यो यज्ञपत्न्यस्तथा परे. In every yuga, many living entities, entangled in the modes of passion and ignorance, gained the association of my devotees. Thus, such living entities as the Daityas, Rakshasas, birds, beasts, Gandharvas, Apsaras, Nagas, Siddhas, Charanas, Guhyakas, and Vidyadharas, as well as such lower class human beings as the Vaishyas, Shudras, women, and others, were able to achieve my supreme abode. Vritasura, Prahlad Maharaj, and others like them also achieved my abode by association with my devotees, as did personalities such as Vrishaparva, Bali Maharaj, Banasura, Maya, Vibhishan, Sugriva, Hanuman, Jambavan, Gajendra, Jatayu, Tuladhara, Dharmavyadha, Kubja, the gopis in Vrindavan, and the wives of the Brahmanas who were performing sacrifice. All of them, they're not highly qualified, but Krishna, took them. See? So, doesn't matter whether we studied Vedanta or not. Pure devotee recommends. This is our position is like this, I'll tell you. We are not here because of some Vedanta Vidwan study certificate. I'll show you why we are here. At least this is my case. देवर्षिर में प्रियतमो यदिमौ धनदात्मजो तत्तथा साधयिष्यामि यद्गीतं तन्महात्मना. Nalakuvar and Manigriva, the sons of the greatly rich Kuvera, treasurer of the heavenly planets, very rich boys, and they were dancing naked and with women in the water, and then Narad Muni passed by. They still did not bother, they were just going on. Narad Muni cursed them, you become trees. Rascals, you had to stand naked as trees for thousands and thousands of years. Then they became trees. Of course, they repented. Then they said, please save us. And then he said, okay, you will still become trees. That will not change. But at least at the end of your life, this curse, in the tree form, you will witness the pastimes of Krishna, because where you will be as trees will become the courtyard of Nanda Maharaj, and you will see the pastimes of Krishna, and Krishna will personally deliver you. Narada gave the promise that Krishna will come. Now Krishna is sold out to his devotee Narada Muni. So this is what happened. He said, although these two young, Krishna was thinking to himself when he was going to deliver these two heavenly boys, young men. Although these two young men are the sons of the very rich Kuvera, and I have nothing to do with them, nothing. Oh, they're very rich. Oh, okay, okay. I'll take some. They can give some donation to me, No, 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 no. Sarvaloka Maheshwaram. I am the owner of all planets and demigods, everything. I have nothing to do with them. Devarshan Narada is my very dear and affectionate devotee. I am interested in him. And therefore, because he wanted me to come face to face with them, I must do so for their deliverance. He promised. For Narad Muni, I am coming. Just like Prahlad, Hiranyakashipu asked, is he in this pillar? Prahlad said, yes. Oh, is he really? Okay, let me smash this pillar. Narasimhadev came out. He did not come out because Hiranyakashipu challenged him. Oh, are you in this pillar? Okay, if you're really there, come out. If you have the guts. He did not answer to that challenge. He answered to the words of Prahlad Maharaj. My devotee Prahlad Maharaj said, yes, I am here. I must be there. He is a servant of his devotee. So we are here in Krishna consciousness movement not because of some superlative tapasya, some exceptional Vedanta studies, and top-notch scholarship. No, no, no. We are here simply because of the mercy of Srila Prabhupada. So who's this? Beena Mataji. In Srimad Bhagavatam 7, 5, 23 and 24, it is written to offer worship to deity without worshipping Vaikuntha deities like Ganesh. Prabhuji, can you explain? Can you please elaborate this? 7, 5, 23. Let's search Vaikuntha and Ganesh. Oh. So these are all the offenses to be worship. I mean, in the deity worship. So here one of them is to offer worship to the deity without worshipping Vaikuntha deities like Ganesh. So Ganesh, we know Ganesh, but this Ganesh is a prototype of the original Ganesh, who is called Vishwaksena. Let me see if I can find that. So Vishwaksena, who is the spiritual Ganesh in the spiritual world, there's a Ganesh form there. He is called Vishwaksena. And that is actually Vishnu himself, Narayan himself. Here both Vishwaksena and Vinayak. So anyway, in the, I don't know where, is mentioned that the Ganesh in spiritual world is Vishwaksena. But either way, I'll tell you. Satya because anyway, I don't think much is explained here. Anyway, I don't remember where exactly I read that. So the point is, Ganesh in the spiritual world is Vishwaksena. I mean, sorry, the Ganesh in this material world is a reflection of the original Vishnu form, which is Vishwaksena. Now, he is remover of all obstacles. Now, yes, even Rupa Goswami and Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu said that one must worship Ganesh to remove all our obstacles in our service to Krishna. So, first we must worship Ganesh, therefore, and then worship Krishna. So, but Prabhupada did not enforce this. In fact, he vehemently prohibited this. Why? He is not against Rupa Goswami. He knows that we will not worship Ganesh for removing obstacles in devotional service. We will start Ganesh job. Security is not there. Please arrange one job. Start. It will start like that. And if we worship Ganesh, then we will have to observe Ganesh Chaturthi, his appearance there. And then all the demigod worshippers will come and they will offer their prayers for their own this thing. No, no, no. Even if they have materialistic desires, if they come to Krishna, that is proper. Udaradhi, that is an intelligent person. If you go to the demigod, Krishna says Alpa Buddhaya. He has no intelligence. Very less intelligence. So Alpa Buddhaya. So if we start, then people will come for different reasons. Are Durga, she is Vaishnavi, how can we disrespect Vaishnavi? Put her. Vaishnavanam Yatha Shambhu, he is the greatest Vaishnava. How can you offend the greatest Vaishnava and go to Krishna? You cannot go. Put Shiva. Huh? Ganesh, one should worship. The Rupa Goswami is saying, how can we deny? Put him inside. Array, three members of the family are there. Skanda, how he can be missed out like that? And he will feel offended, then he will curse me. So put Skanda also inside. Family came inside. Now every other one will come. Every other demigod for different reasons. And then Lakshmi, they also Lakshmi. Oh, Lakshmi because his wife of Narayan. Money. Then the Kuvera also is actually, heavenly planets. He's also Lakshmi Kuvera Puja. Lakshmi Kuvera, what is nonsense is Lakshmi and Kuvera come together. Karmis they do like this. Lakshmi Kuvera Puja, sometimes they did. Every now and then they do Lakshmi Kuvera Puja. Lakshmi and Kuvera, why Lakshmi will come with some other another man other than her husband? What kind of is unchaste woman or what? She's the most chaste woman in the three worlds. Huh? Like this, everybody will come. Prabhupada knows this. Therefore, no Ganesh worship. Ganesh is getting his power from Narsimadev. We will worship Narsimadev will worship. He will remove all the obstacles in our service to Radha and Krishna. And Narsimadev is Vishnu, Murti. So it is same Vishnu Tattva. That is fine. So he knows our contamination. Like when you go to Bhaktivinoda Thakur's house in Godrum Dweep in Mayapur, Navadvip, you will find Gopishwar Shiva there and below his two-story apartment. House is there. Below he is the Gopishwar Shiva. So he is worshipping Shiva there. Why? Gopishwar Shiva. Because he was the one who was guarding the Ras Leela, and he would not allow any man to enter that place. So if you want to go inside, you must get permission of Lord Shiva, Gopishwar Shiva. So he wanted to enter into Ras Leela. That is his mood. Of course, he's already in Ras Leela. He's already in perfected soul. But He Radhe Vraja Devike Chalalite, He Nanda Suno Kutaha. Kutaha means where? Where are you, Krishna? Where are you? Where are you, Radharani? So this is their separation, feeling of separation, ecstasy. So they want to see the Lord in his Vrindavan. So similarly, Bhaktivinoda Thakur in his ecstasy was praying that I want to see the Lord in Rasil, I want to associate with the Lord. So he was worshipping Gopishwar Shiva in that way. Katyayani Mahadevi Mahayoginyadhishwari Nanda Gopasutam Devi Patim Me Kurute Namaha. Iti mantra japantyoyas Kumarika. What is that? Last two lines. Okay. 10:22:4. Katyayani Mahamaye Mahayoginyadhishwari Nanda Gopasutam Devi Patim Me Kurute Namaha. Iti mantram japantyastah Pujam Chakruh Kumarika. The gopis worship Katyayani, Durga, but their focus did not go one millimeter, 1 nanometer away from Krishna. They did not say to Durga, Durga, we want to worship Krishna, so you please give us some wealth so that our husband will be satisfied a little bit, so we can go. Not that also, no, what? No, please just make Krishna as my husband. Like that, they were praying like that. So each of the unmarried young girls performed her worship while chanting the following mantra. Quote, O goddess Katyayani, O great potency of the Lord, O possessor of great mystic power and mighty controller of all, please make the son of Nanda Maharaj my husband. I offer my obeisances unto you. So this is different level of demigod worship. So we are not on that level. So Prabhupada knew that very, very well. Therefore, he did not. In fact, he prohibited us from doing all that. Okay, so Preeti Gauranga Prabhu. Okay, now only I'm seeing after almost all the classes finished over. He's asking me to make all the audience to read the purport to make it interactive. Okay, fine. Maybe you all can read now. Geeta Mataji. Is there a very thin line of difference between devotee association and attachment to devotees? Is attachment to devotees detrimental to spiritual progress or helpful instead? Association means attachment. Sangat sanjayate kamaha. Right? From association comes attachment. So okay, we will follow the format. I went on my format reading all the way. So I think let's see if maybe we can make some devotees chant. I mean read. We will go to and this was okay. Somebody get ready. You can read this verse first in Sanskrit. 323:55 Srimad Bhagavatam. Hare Krishna.
Krishna, may I read, Prabhu?
Are you all still there?
Yes, Prabhu. Yeah.
Okay.
May I read, Prabhu?
Yeah, who is this?
Subramanian, Prabhu.
Ah, yes. Yes, Prabhu, read.
Yes, Prabhu. Sango samsruter hetu asatsu vihito dhiya sa eva sadhushu kruto nisangatvaya kalpate.
Very good pronunciation. Those who can't pronounce, please don't be discouraged. Only by chanting we will get nice. Okay, read the translation.
Yes, Prabhu. Translation. Association for sense gratification is certainly the path of bondage, but the same type of association performed with a saintly person leads to the path of liberation, even if performed without knowledge.
So this is very important. Association for sense gratification is path of bondage, but the same type of association performed with a saintly person leads to the path of liberation. What is association? What is attachment? How does attachment develop? Who can give me answer? How does attachment develop? Like, what is association? How does attachment develop from association? You can.
Excuse me, may I answer?
Yes, who is this, Prabhu?
This is Manudas. This is Manudas.
Oh, Manu Prabhu. Yes, yes. Wow. What time is it for you now?
It's 8:46, Prabhu. 8:46 in the morning, Prabhu.
Okay, okay. Nice to hear from you. Yes, Prabhu. Tell me.
I would say attachment would be very much being conscious of that person always being on your mind.
I didn't get you.
Just as you think of the family.
Okay, continue.
Yeah.
Continue.
Oh,
Yes.
so just as you think about the person and then you associate with them, you eat with him, you get closer and closer, and really you have the same mindset. Just as an iron rod stays next to fire, it gets the same qualities as fire. So if you stay with a materialistic person, you get materialistic thoughts. But with a saintly person, you get saintly qualities.
So by associating with a particular person, we get his qualities or her qualities. That's fine. But how do we develop a strong attachment with that person?
Prabhu, dadati pratigrihnati.
That is what I was looking for. Yes. Dadati pratigrahanati guhyamakhyati. This is what association means actually.
Guhyamakhyati prichhati. Bhunje bhoje techaiva shadvidam priti lakshanam.
So this priti lakshanam is that attachment. You're attached to that person because of these things. Dadati pratigrahanati guhyamakhyati prichhati. Bhunkte bhojayate chaiva shadvidham priti lakshanam. Here actually there is no mention of any devotee. Whomever we do this with, we will get attachment to that person. So that's how we associate with somebody intimately. So these are the intimate things, make us more intimate. So let's see the translation. Can somebody read? Manu Prabhu, maybe you can read. Manu Prabhu, you're still there?
Yes, I can hear. Gifts and charity, accepting charity, revealing one's mind confidence, inquiring confidentially, accepting prashada and offering prashada are the 6 symptoms of love shared by one devotee and another.
So this is not only with devotee, but with non-devotee also. Let's see something. Prabhu just showed me just 2 days ago before he went to the hospital. I was asking him some question. So he showed me this verse. I haven't memorized this though, but 6:167 of Srimad Bhagavatam. So you can read the Sanskrit. You're familiar with the Sanskrit pronunciation?
I'm still learning, Prabhu.
Prabhu, or may I read the Sanskrit and Prabhu can read the translation?
Maybe he can. No, Manu Prabhu can try maybe.
Okay, Prabhu. Fine.
Okay, I'll try.
Yes.
Yad asu sastram ulankaya swirachari atigrahitaha avatata siram kalam akir yuger asuchi malat.
Wow, very good. Very good. You can very soon become a nice Pandit chanting very slow, very nicely. So you see, you read the translation?
Translation.
Yes.
This Brahmana irresponsibly spent his long lifetime transgressing all the rules and regulations of the Holy Scripture, living extravagantly, and eating food prepared by a prostitute. Therefore, full of sins, he is unclean and addicted to forbidden activities.
So because he ate food from, so this is bhungte bhojayate chaiva, priti lakshanam. He developed his priti lakshanam with a prostitute. So basically with the mode of ignorance. So he developed the qualities of ignorance and he got so much attached to her because he ate her food. I think the purport also, yeah, you see, you can read the purport as well.
My screen is loading. Just give me a moment.
You can read it out loud, the purport.
I can read it out loud. My screen is still under translation for some reason.
Oh, really? Oh.
Yeah, my connection, my internet connection is slow.
Maybe.
Oh, now I can see it purport.
Okay, okay.
Food
okay.
prepared by an unclean, sinful man or woman, especially a prostitute, is extremely infectious. Al-Jamila ate such food, and therefore he was subject to be punished by Yamraj.
So this is what happens. You eat food from an unclean source. So this is not only food. This is not only food. Bhungte bhojate chaiva. And guhyamakhyate prichate. Whom do I reveal my mind to? What kind of a person? That means whom I trust. So that is a sign of preeti or affection. Preeti lakshanam. They are the qualities of affection. So the more we do these things, the more we develop affection. So we just have to, there's no thin line or what. Association and attachment. There has to be attachment with the sadhus. For example, if somebody dies, to cry for them is not good. That means we don't have any understanding of the body and soul, and it's all in the mode of ignorance. But when a sadhu passes away, one must, when the spiritual master passes away, when the sadhu passes, one must cry. Otherwise, there is no attachment for them. And he has to cry because, of course, it is not that it is lamentable that, oh, he is going, he is gone and he is going to Krishna. But we don't have the treasure of the association of such a saintly person. And out of affection for the spiritual master, one has to cry for the spiritual master. Otherwise, it's not of course, we should not make a show, but genuinely we should feel. It is not about the crying. It is about the feeling. I can make crocodile tears. I mean, I can just act it out, but that's not the point. The point is I must feel very much attached to the person. When the person leaves, I must cry just like an attached person would cry for a material person, a materialistic person, out of his ignorance. But this is not out of ignorance. So, same type of attachment. That is why the previous verse, 323:55, how we are attached to how a materialist is attached to another materialist. Same type of attachment we have to have for the sadhus. See? Saeva sadhu sukrito mokshadvaram apavritam. So that's the, so there's no thin line. One must be very attached to devotees. If one is not attached to devotees, that's a sign of danger. If he does not have any, especially sometimes in Ritvik movement, this can become a problem. They think they're, if you saw Prabhupada's videos and Prabhupada's photos, how they used to serve Prabhupada. When Prabhupada was getting up from his chair and going out of the temple to go to the car, I think you must have seen those video clips where the servant, the devotee comes with his Prabhupada's shoes and puts the shoes for the legs of Prabhupada, So, and then they wash his feet when he comes and with milk and everything, and then they take a Sarnamrita. and they offer him, I mean, every time they enter the room, they bow down. They enter his room, they bow down. And they go out, they bow down and go out. Again, he calls them, again he comes, again bow down. Again, after going, again bow down and go. So that kind of respect, that kind of affection, out of firm affection. So that must be there. If we are like callous, like, if senior devotee like Sundagopal Prabhu, sometimes he's taking prasadam, and other devotees is there, but he's not bothering to serve. Sometimes serve, must serve. Yes, of course he can take by himself. He can take it by himself, but that's not. So Preeti Lakshana means I want to serve. So that sometimes in the Ritvik movement, oh, our love is to Prabhupada. Devotees, these are all, chalta hai, all like me only. If I think like that, then that's a very, very dangerous situation. Why we call everybody Prabhu? Why our name has the name Das at the end, or Devi Dasi? Why that Dasi and Das? Why I'm calling Prabhu? He's master, not servant. These are all important things. Okay, I think hopefully that is understandable. Actually, we can talk about a lot of this association and affection and attachment to devotees from Chaitanya Charitamrita examples. How Chaitanya Mahaprabhu glorified each and every devotee who was there. We can go on that. That's a whole long thing, But he does that. He glorifies every devotee he meets. Okay, then he'll come to this devotee. Okay, then he'll announce to all the devotees, this devotee has he done this, and then he glorifies, and then he go to the next devotee. This devotee, this. These are the qualities of this devotee. He'll magnify always his qualities of the devotees. So he's showing us how we should glorify always other devotees and not look for glory ourselves. Okay? So that's how attachment, and it is not simply like to show that you say I'm glorifying every devotee. So I'm a great devotee. I should actually have feelings for the devotee, genuine feeling for the devotee. Okay, so Nimanita Prabhu, the legend Prabhu is here. Hare Krishna. This is that Jiva Goswami Tattva Sandarbha. It's a pity that we can't make it very big or put it on the screen here, unlike our Facebook live stream. Anyway, I'll just read it out. Vedavan Nishchalam Manye Puranartham Dvijottamah Vedah Pratishtha Sarve Purane Natra Samshayah बिभेत्यल्पश्रुताद् वेदी मामयं चालयिष्यति इतिहास पुराणैस्तु निश्चलोऽयं कुतः पुरा यन्न दृष्टं हि वेदेषु तद्दृष्टं स्मृतिषु द्विजाः उभयोर्यन्न दृष्टं हि तत् पुराणैः प्रगीयते यो वेद चतुरो वेदान् सांगोपानिषदो द्विजाः पुराणं नैव जानाति Nachasasyad vichakshanaha. O lovely one, I consider the message of the Puranas more important than that of the Vedas. Thank you very much, Prabhu, for this reference. Without doubt, all the Vedas are given a firm foundation in the Puranas. Anyone who disrespects the Puranas will have to take his next birth as an animal, even if he is very self-controlled and peaceful. He will achieve no good destination. Skanda Purana. वेदार्थाद अधिकं मन्ये पुराणार्थं वरानने वेदाः प्रतिष्ठाः सर्वे पुराणेनात्र संशयः पुराणम् अन्यथा कृत्वा तिर्यग्योनिम् अवाप्नुयात् सुदान्तोपि सुशान्तोपि नगतिं क्वचित् आप्नुयात्. O best of Brahmanas, I consider the purport of the Puranas as unquestionable as the Vedas themselves. As unquestionable as the Vedas themselves. Without doubt, all the Vedas have given a firm foundation in the Puranas. Sometime in the past, the Vedas became afraid that, quote, these people are going to distort my meaning because they are inadequately trained in proper hearing, unquote. But at that time, the Itihasas and Puranas came forward to give the Vedas an unquestionable foundation. What cannot be found in the Vedas, O Brahmanas, is found in the Smriti, and what cannot be found located in either is clearly described in the Puranas. O Brahmanas, one who knows the Vedas along with their supplements and the Upanishads but does not know the Puranas is not really learned. And that is from the Narada Puran, quoted by Jiva Goswami in Tattva Sandarbha. Excellent. This is top-notch glorification of the Puranas. Bhavagrahi Janardan. Murkho Vadad Vishna, yes. 2746. Oh yeah. How did we miss that verse? This. So this other verse, 2746, this is actually a very important verse as well. Te vai vidantyati taranti cha deva mayam stri shudra hona shabara api papa jiva yadyad bhuta krama parayana shila shikshas tiryak jana api kimo shruta dharana ye. Somebody else can read the translation. Hare Krishna. Time to sleep. 10 o'clock here. 10 p.m. Are you all still there?
Yes,
Hari
Lord.
Bol.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Who is this, Mataji?
Divya Prabhuji.
Ah, Divya Mataji. Yes, you are
Surrenders.
your question personified.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Surrender souls, even from even from groups leading sinful lives, such as men,
Lives.
the laborer,
Sinful lives.
sinful lives, such as women, the laborer class, the mountaineers, and the shabaras, or even the birds and beasts, can also know about the signs of Godhead and become liberated from the clutches of the illusory energy by surrendering unto the pure devotees of the Lord and by following in their footsteps in devotional service.
So this also, I think I should thank, I don't know, who is this? Vishwambar Prabhu, or who shared this verse in the comment section? ISKM teacher, I don't know who is holding that account. Next. Subala Prabhu is asking, currently in HKM, Hare Krishna movement, they are doing Lakshmi Puja. They say that even Radha Krishna worship is Lakshmi Narayan worship and use that to do their practices. Satyam Prabhu is adding to that. He says in HKM, they are even doing Saraswati Puja. So, this is how it starts. Some loophole, if you find, we will just tear it apart and then everything is lost. Yeah, we saw that Instagram post of HKM Guwahati in Meghalaya, Assam. So they were having Saraswati Puja advertised on their. I was shocked actually when Satyam Prabhu showed it to me. I did not believe it. No, this must be some Photoshop thing. Let me go to their Instagram post and actually Instagram account and see whether it's actually real or not. So in the beginning, I did not find it, but few posts under that, I found that, oh, wow, this is actually real. So I was shocked. They will say Saraswati is also, after all, Lakshmi only, in the spiritual world. So who is not? We are all from the spiritual world only, like that. We all came from there only. So worship everybody, Mayavad. So that's why it is quite unfortunate. These kind of things are creeping in. Even ISKCON also, they're doing this Shiva. Now there is one vlogger, ISKCON vlogger. He is the Shah Rukh Khan of ISKCON. What is that? GKD, Govinda Krishna Das. He'll flirt with all ladies in the live stream. So he's making videos and some Shiva mandir, he will go and he will say, what is it? Har Har Mahadev. He starts the post and so many posts. No Hare Krishna. Har Har Mahadev. I mean, we want to glorify Lord Shiva, yes, but क्षीरम यथा दधिविकार विशेष योगा संजायते नहीं तथा पृथगस्ति हेतु यशंभुतान अपि तथा समुपैति कार्यात् गोविंदमाद पुरुषम तमहम भजामि. Or there is Rudra Gita, which Lord Shiva himself composed in glorification of Lord Vishnu. That can be chanted. Why, like shy white? So these are all very, very dangerous things. So we have to be very careful about it. Dimitri Prabhu is saying 4:24, 45 and 46 purport. Radha Krishna cannot be approached by the neophyte devotees, therefore temple worship according to regulated principles is offered to Lakshmi Narayan. Although there may be a Radha Krishna Vigraha or form, the worship of the neophyte devotee is acceptable as Lakshmi Narayan worship. That is because, that does not mean, oh, now we can worship Lakshmi, and then because Lakshmi is there, Kubera also we can come. No. So we cannot just go down that route and find some loophole and then go by one all loopholes until we only have a hole and no substance there. So the point is that Radha Krishna can only be worshipped by liberated souls, fully pure devotees. We are worshipping Radha Krishna, but with regulative principles. In Radha Krishna worship, there is no regulative principles. They are just pure love. I mean, there's no limitations. But here with full, sambhrama sevyamanam, Lakshmi Sahasra Shatasambrahma sevyamanam. So Lakshmi is, they all, with great, what is it called? Reverence and with great respect. So this, what we are trying to do is offering with great respect. I mean, at least trying to. So that is Lakshmi Narayan worship actually. So the quality of worship is Lakshmi Narayan with regulative principles. That is Lakshmi Narayan worship. Radha Krishna worship has no regulations. It is beyond such things. So although our attachment is towards Radha Krishna, we are trying to cultivate, but our mode of worship is Lakshmi Narayan worship. In Vaikuntha, there is all these regulative principles. In Goloka, it is beyond that. Like, in Vaikuntha, they have to bow down and everything. So, Madhya Jimam Namaskuru, bow down, become my devotee, always think of him. In Golok Vrindavan, climb on Krishna's shoulder. Where is the rule that you can climb on Krishna's shoulder? What is that? We have to give the Patram Pushpam Phalam Toyam, nice preparations, food nicely prepared. In Golok Vrindavan, the cowherd boys, they put some bitter flour in his mouth, and then when his mouth, his face twists, and they laugh at him, ha ha ha, you are fool. That, and they will have mock fighting. Vaikuntha, where you can imagine this? So we can't mock fighting with Krishna. I mean, but Krishna's boyfriends, they do that. And the gopis, they chastise Krishna like anything in very, very slant language. They really criticize him. I mean, if you see the Chitra Jalpa, beautiful explanation of the Chitra Jalpa in the Brahmara Gita of Radharani speaking to the bumblebee, and she spoke about 10 verses, and every verse, Prajalpa is only one of the 10 Chitra Jalpas. And Jalpa means basically talk, or speech. The Chitra Jalpa means wonderful speech. So each verse ties to a, Jiva Goswami says, this is this Chitra. Maybe I can show you. Where is that Brahmara Gita?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Yeah.
Dandot Pranam Jai Srila Prabhupada.
Always Prabhupada.
Prabhuji, here in this verse, Shabaras they have given. Which class of people before you go to the next verse?
What is that?
Shabaras they have given here with sinful lives.
Yeah,
which class of people are they?
Which caste?
Class of people. I mean, who are they?
They are the pig rearers. They rear pigs.
Okay.
Shabaras, the rare pigs. You know that Neelamadhav story, Jagannath?
No, Prabhuji.
You know the Jagannath story, Neelamadhav? Anyway, I don't have time to narrate that story now. But in that story, the Neelamadhav deity is hidden, and then one Shabara is actually worshipping him. He is a rarer of pigs. He rears pigs.
Okay. Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
And for what? So anyway, the point of the Chitra Jalpa is that Radharani is very, very talking in a very negative way about Krishna. That's why it is called Chitra Jalpa, wonderful speech. But actually she is glorifying him. But it looks like absolutely like she's fed up with him, you know. I mean, that is only possible in, again, Golok Vrindavan, not in Vaikuntha. You cannot talk like Hanuman will dare not talk like that against about Ramachandra Bhagavan. No. So we also cannot like scold Krishna, stand there and scold Krishna. This is all movies nonsense. They're not on the level of these gopis and all these intimate devotees, and they're scolding Krishna. Krishna knows how to scold them. So if we just try this Chitra Jalpa thing, very nice description. Here it is. You see him? Oh, Vishwanath Chakravarti. Okay. 10:47:21. Sujalpa. You see, this is okay. I think this is the start. I'll just show the translation and then the type of Chitra Jalpa that it is. Okay. This is what Radharani is saying. Where it is. This is not. To Uddhava. Oh, to Uddhava. You see, oh Uddhava, it is indeed regrettable that Krishna resides in Mathura. Does he remember his father's household affairs and his friends, the cowherd boys? Oh, great soul. Does he ever talk about us, his maid servants? When will he lay on our heads his aguru scented hand? So she's like, is he even considering that we're thinking of him? He's not even reciprocating nothing. What is he doing? So this kind of jalpa is called. You say, okay, let me. Thus, Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur interprets the feelings of Srimati Radharani. The Acharya further explains that the present text displays a speech called Sujalpa, as described by Rupa Goswami. So this is one of the 10 Chitra Jalpas, Sujalpa. So when out of honest sincerity, a lover questions Sri Hari with gravity, humility, unsteadiness, and eagerness, such speech is known as Sujalpa. Oh, this is from Ujjwal Neelamani. This is a classic book by Rupa Goswami, Ujjwal Neelamani. So this is the Sujalpa. Now next. Okay, I'll just go a little bit here. You see, concluding this section of chapter 47, Srila. Oh, this is the conclusion. Okay. Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti explains that there are 10 divisions of divine madness. Divyonmada. Unmada. Mada means madness. Unmada means superlative madness. Divyonmada means transcendental superlative madness, which are expressed by the 10 divisions of Chitra Jalpa or variegated speech. Such divine madness is shown in the special pastime of bewilderment, which is itself part of the supreme bliss Mahabharata of Srimati Radharani. These are all explanations of the ecstasy. So, Chitra Jalpo Dashangoyam Prajalpaha Parijalpitaha Vijalpo Ujjalpa Sanjalpaha Avajalpo Abhijalpitam. See the 10 things. Chitra Jalpa Dashangoyam Prajalpaha Parijalpitaha Vijalpaha Ujjalpa Sanjalpa Avajalpa Abhijalpa and more. Ajalpa, Pratijalpa, and Sujalpa. So the Sujalpa was just now the last one of the 10. So from the 12th verse to the 21st verse of the 47th chapter of the 10th canto, you can see, you can go to homework, how she is actually this particular verse, she was a little bit more loving. but the other texts are more scolding him only, you know. That kind of, that is not possible in Vaikuntha. So that is liberated stage, you see. So here everybody will namaskuru and everything, you know, this is Vaikuntha consciousness. So we cannot, like, you know, suddenly Radharani something scold and next day we'll get a nice reply from Krishna for the offense. Something will happen in our life. So okay, next. The constant thinking about them when we live with them. Okay, so regarding the ISKM teacher, that means maybe Vishwamba Prabhu, I think. So 11.3.30. So this is also about associating with devotees and getting attachment. So he quoted this one, 11.3.30. परस्परानुकथनं पावनं भगवद्यशः मिथो रतिर्मिथस्तुष्टिर्निवृत्तिर् मिथ आत्मनः. One should learn how to associate. One should learn how to associate with the devotees of the Lord by gathering with them to chant the glories of the Lord. This process is most purifying. As devotees thus develop their loving friendship, they feel mutual happiness and satisfaction, and by thus encouraging one another, they are able to give up material sense gratification, which is the cause of all suffering. I'm sorry, I read that. I should have asked somebody to read that. Okay. Dimitri Prabhu is saying, in Srimad Bhagavatam, it is said that in order to take birth in India, one must have performed many pious activities in a past life, but there are many atheists. Sorry, but why are there atheists and karmis there? So to take such an auspicious birth, one's good karma was paid for that, but further advancement on the spiritual path depends on him only. No question. Not that such a birth is guarantee of success and he can do nothing. Please correct me if my understanding is incorrect. Yes, so it is like the hare and the tortoise race. The hare was fast and the tortoise was slow. The Indians can be compared to the hare and the tortoise can be compared to the Westerners or other than Indians. They may be slow, maybe, you know. Indians may be way ahead already, but what they're doing, too much pride. They are stopping the race and then they're maybe even turning backward. But the tortoise is just diligently going forward, however slow, and eventually won the race. So slow and steady wins the race. Fast and steady definitely wins the race. But if I'm fast but not steady, then I will lose the race. So this is what is happening to many Indians now. They are not taking advantage of what they have. Kali Yuga Prabhav. And it all started. India is like this today because of the Brahmanas, so-called Brahmanas. The institution of Varnashram was polluted. The institution of Gotra was polluted. Everything is polluted. They made it into caste birthright. So what happened? They monopolized and then they discriminated against the others. That's why India is in a state like this now. And even the Shankaracharya, who Kalau Brahmana Murtina, he came as a Brahmana. Brahmana is supposed to be truthful, but he was not truthful. So that's why there is this verse, Rakshasim Kalimashritya Jayante Brahmayonishu. What is that? I'll take out the verse. Krishan. Varaha Puran. This is the thing. You see, demons taking advantage of Kali Yuga take birth in Brahmana families. And they have finished up. This is the thing. Chaitanya Bhagavat, Adikhanda 16.301. Rakshasaha Kalimashritya Jayante Brahmayonishu Utpanna Brahmanakule Badhante Shrotriyan Krishan. In Kali Yuga, demons will take birth in families of Brahmanas to harass those rare persons who are conversant with the Vedic way of life. Spoken by Lord Shiva in the Varaha Purana. And he himself came as Brahmana and he was not truthful. He deviated from the path of truthfulness and twisted the meaning of Vedas. Next verse also. Oh, this is, I think, previous verse. Also there is same thing. Kali Yuga Rakshas, this is in Bengali. Kali Yuga Rakshas Sakala Vipraghare Janmibek Sujaner Himsa Korivare. In Kali Yuga, demons are born in the families of Brahmanas in order to harass the saintly person. So that's the reason why India is like that now, although it is favorable. So with Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's mercy, Papitapi Jhata Chilo Harinam Dharila Tarasakshi Jagai Madhai. Jagai Madhai also was Brahman, born in Brahman family. Associated with the rascals, they became rascals, and but they were delivered. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's mercy is the only way now. Vishwambar Prabhu. Ujjalpa is also mentioned in Chaitanya Charitamrita. Imaginative mad dogs known as Chitrajalpa can be divided into 10 categories: Prajalpa, Pratijalpa, or Parijalpa, Vijalpa, Ujjalpa, Sanjalpa, Avajalpa, Abhijalpa, Ajalpa, Pratijalpa, Sujalpa. There are no English equivalents for these different features of Jalpa, imaginative. Yes. So these are actually, you can see every type of Jalpa and the example of it. Actually, why don't we just do that? Well, 10:47:12. It's very, very slow. I think computer, I think, is okay. So I'm not going to chant all Sanskrit now, but of course it will be nice to chant, but don't have time. Okay. Please read, anybody?
The gopi said, "O honeybee, O friend of a cheater, don't touch my feet with your whiskers, which are smeared with the kunkuma that rubbed onto Krishna's garland when it was crushed by the breasts of a rival lover. Let Krishna satisfy the woman of Mathura. One who sends a messenger like you will certainly be ridiculed in the Yadu's assembly."
You see how she's talking. You can talk like this in Vaikuntha. She called Krishna a cheater. Even Chaitanya Mahaprabhu also. Aslishava padratam vinashtumam adarshanan marmahatam karotva yatha tatha va vidadhatu lampata. Lampat means what? A debauchee. Mat prananathastu sayavanapa. You are a debauchee. That means you will not stay with one woman, but still you are my lord of my life. Radharani is praying like that. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in the mood of Radharani is praying like that. Prabhu, I'm doing class. Prabhu. So, okay, what Jalpa is this? Let's see. Okay, let's see the translation of this. This is what Jalpa is. Prajalpa.
Prajalpa is speech that
Denigrate.
denigrates the tactlessness of one's lover with expressions of disrespect. It is spoken in a mood of envy, jealousy, and pride. Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti points out that.
No, only that. Only the translation. You see the Prajalpo Niyamagraha. You know, one of the things that is not favorable to devotional service is Prajalpa. So Prajalpa is usually termed as gossip or like Gramya Katha. So it is actually the actual definition of Prajalpa, you see, spoken in a mood of envy, jealousy, and pride. So talking bad about somebody. So that is gossip basically. I mean, this and that, this and that. So that's the explanation. But here, this is Prajalpa, but this is Divyonmada Prajalpa. This is transcendental Prajalpa. And you see, with disrespect and denigrates one's lover. It means insults. Next. Again, very nice verse to chant, but we'll go to the translation.
After making us drink the enchanting nectar of his lips, only once Krishna suddenly abandoned us, just as you might quickly abandon some flowers. How is it then that goddess Padma willingly serves his lotus feet? Alas, the answer must certainly be that her mind has been stolen away by his deceitful words.
Lakshmi in Vaikuntha, I mean, she is serving him very nicely. And Radharani is condemning one. She is just cheated only. That's why she is still with him. This is called Parijalpa. You can read the translation alone, the one in quotes.
Parijalpa is that speech which, through various devices, shows one's own cleverness by exposing the mercilessness, duplicity, unreliability, and so on of one's Lord.
So this is different flavor of madness.
Oh B, why do you sing here so much about the Lord of the Yadus in front of us, homeless people? These topics are all news to us. Better you sing about that friend of Arjuna in front of his new girlfriends, the burning desire in whose breast he has now relieved. Those ladies will surely give you the charity you're begging.
She really knows how to. Classic. You see, the female rivalry is like this. When one woman is jealous of another woman because of some man, this is how they talk. But here it is totally transcendental. You see,
According to learned authorities, Vijalpa
learned, learned authorities.
learned authorities, Vijalpa
Learned.
is learned. Okay. Authorities, Vijalpa is sarcastic speech that is addressed to the killer of Agha and that openly expresses jealousy while at the same time hinting at one's angry pride.
This Chitrajalpa is not possible in Vaikuntha. Okay, next.
In heaven, on earth, or in the subterranean sphere, what women are unavailable to him? He simply arches his eyebrows and smiles with deceptive charm, and they all become his. The supreme goddess herself worships the dust of his feet. So, what is our position in comparison? But at least those who are wretched can chant his name, Uttam Shloka.
Actually, she is glorifying him, but in the manner of deriding him.
The declaration of Lord Hari's duplicitous nature in a mood of spite, born of pride, together with jealousy spoken insults directed against him, has been termed Ujjalpa by the wise.
Duplicitous nature. Right, huh? Is duplicitous.
Yes, Prabhuji.
Okay. She's saying to the bee, no?
Keep your head off my feet. I know what you're doing. You expertly learned diplomacy from Mukunda, and now you come as his messenger with flattering words. But he abandoned those who, for his sake alone, gave up their children, husbands, and all other relations. He's simply ungrateful. Why should I make up with him now? The learned described. Very Sanjalpa as that speech which decries with a deep irony and insulting gestures the beloved's ungratefulness and so on. Like a hunter, he cruelly shot the king of the monkeys with arrows because he was conquered by a woman. He disfigured another woman who came to him with lusty desires. And even after consuming the gifts of Bali Maharaj, he bound him up with ropes as if he were a crow. So let us give up all friendship with this dark complexioned boy, even if he can't give up talking about him, if we can't give up talking about him.
I think you understand all those pastimes, right?
Yes, Prabhuji.
as Ramchandra, as Vamanadev. So he's saying he has a history of this ungratefulness since very, very long time. So it's no use. Just like, Bilamangal Thakur called him a thief. I'll imprison you and all that. But actually, it's all out of love. It looks like. You can read.
Saintly persons have concluded that when a lover, impelled by jealousy and fear, declares that Lord Hari is unworthy of her attachment because of his harshness, lustiness, and dishonesty, such speech is called avajalpa.
You see, they think that the Lord Hari is unworthy of her attachment. So he doesn't deserve me. That kind of how to talk like that in Vaikuntha. This is unimaginable in Vaikuntha. Is there anybody else who would also like to read?
Prabhu, shall I read?
Who is this?
Subramanian Prabhu.
Only a very few readers are there. Huh? Okay, you
May I
read.
Prabhuji, may I?
Rajeshwari Mataji. Okay. You haven't read before. Okay, you read Mataji. Next one, Subramanian Prabhu.
To hear
Sure,
about the
Prabhu.
to hear about the pastimes that Krishna regularly performs is nectar for the ears. For those who relish just a single drop of that nectar, even once their dedication to material duality is renewed. Many such
Not renewed,
ruined. Many such persons have suddenly given up their wretched homes and families and themselves becoming wretched traveled here to Vrindavana to wander about like birds begging for their living.
This is very similar to Balamangal Thakur's thing. He makes them beggars. He makes his devotees beggars and vagabonds. Okay. Abhijalpa.
When a lover indirectly states with remorse, correct, Prabhuji?
Yeah, remorse.
That her beloved is fit to be given up. Such speech uttered like the plaintive crying of a bird is called abhijalpa.
Plaintive crying.
Plaintive crying of a bird is called abhijalpa.
So that means she regrets having any relationship with him in the first place. So in that way, she's crying.
So such jalpa can be done only by Srimati Radharani.
Of course. We cannot imitate this. Array. Then if we try to imitate it, he will make us the bumblebee. We will become bumblebee. We will become Brahmara and will become Brahmanda Brahmite. Okay, Subramanian Prabhu.
Prabhuji, may I read?
Who is this?
Raj Panchal.
Oh, Raj Panchal. Oh, read.
Faithfully taking his deceitful words as true, we became just like the black deer's foolish wives, who trust the cruel hunter's song. Thus we repeatedly felt the sharp pain of lust caused by the touch of his nails. O messenger, please talk about something besides Krishna.
This sounds like an atheistic sentence. You see. Please talk something about besides Krishna.
Nirvedad yatra kirtatam.
No, that is.
Bhangyanya sukham.
No, that's not the starting line. You see, that's just.
Jahimyam tasyarti dattvam cha nirvedad yatra kirtatam bhangyanya sukha dattvam cha sa ajalpa uddirita. A statement spoken.
We are only reading the English now because of the time. What is the time now? 10:30. Yeah, please read.
a statement spoken in disgust, describing how the male lover is deceitful and brings one misery, and also implying that he gives happiness to others, is known as ajalpa.
Subramaniam Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, yes, Prabhu.
Read.
Yes, Prabhu. Uh, O friend of my dear one, has my beloved sent you here again? I should honor you, friend. So please choose whatever boon you wish. But why have you come back here to take us to him, whose conjugal love is so difficult to give up? After all, gentle bee, his consort is the goddess Shri, and she is always with him, staying upon his chest.
Only the translation, no?
Yes, Prabhu. When the lover humbly states that although she is unworthy of attaining her beloved, she cannot give up hoping for a conjugal relationship with him, such words spoken with respect for her beloved's message are called pratijalpa.
So you see, now, although she has spoken all harsh words, now she's feeling, no, I have to, I cannot, I cannot send this kind of message to him and he will feel hurt. So again, she's, you know, with, now she is feeling that she is unworthy of attaining him. Just now she said he is unworthy of attaining her. So you see, all madness, only mad woman will speak like this in ordinary sense, but because this Divyon Mata, transcendental madness. Who is there? Any other devotee who can read this?
Hare Krishna Prabhu.
Yes, who is this?
I'm Bhakta Himanshu Prabhu.
Himanshu. Okay. I don't even know
Okay,
how you all sound because I only see your comments in the live stream.
yes, Prabhu.
Yeah, read.
O Uddhava, it is indeed regrettable that Krishna resides in Mathura. Does he remember his father's household affairs and his friends, the cowherd boys? O great soul, does he ever talk about us, his maidservants? When will he lay on our heads his guru-scented hand?
So you see, now it's much more positive, you see. She's like in a very humble mood, you know. Just now was an expression of pride.
Prabhuji, what is a guru?
Not a guru is what is it? Like Chandan.
Chandan?
Like Chandan. It is a scent, a guru.
Oh, I was thinking a guru.
No. Okay, this one. Himanshu Prabhu. Where is he?
When out of honest sincerity, a lover questions Sri Hari with gravity, humility, unsteadiness, and eagerness, such speech is known as Shujalpa.
So Sujalpa is good speech. You see, good speech. Like if this was very, very positive, like very humble, you know. One would call this a prayer usually. But all those are also prayers. But these are prayers are so intimate that they cannot be understood by ordinary devotees. So these are very elevated. So this is the difference between Goloka and Vaikuntha. Himanshu is asking Prabhu, but then the devotees who fall in this life will also take birth in Brahmana families. See, devotees are also Brahmanas, real devotees. I mean, they're actual Brahmanas, not this birthright Brahmanas. And they may take birth in devotee families if they cannot finish. So, if they're Rakshasas, then they'll take birth in this kind of so-called namesake Brahmanas. But I only do all nonsense and give a. Why is that so demoniac? So why is that Rakshasi? Because not only am I not doing the duties of a Brahmana, not only I'm discriminating against, I'm setting a very bad example for all Brahmins. So in all ways, it is just destructive. So real Brahmanas are devotees. So to take birth in their family is quite advanced. But then also Prabhu, Bhrigumuni kicked on the chest of Vishnu, it was Vaikuntha, right, not Goloka. Yeah, that's why he felt very, he was in a matter of challenging Krishna, Vishnu. That's not the same as, he felt very repentant after that. He was repentant after that. And he was crying when Vishnu was so kind to him. But in Golo Vrindavan, the cowherd boyfriends, they just jump on him and play with him. And they don't even think about it. They don't give a second thought after that. That, oh, we stepped on Krishna. No. Yashoda, she saw the universe, everything in the Krishna's mouth. Still, she, oh, this is my son. Who will think he's a son and if he's showing like that, But out of Yogamaya, covered. So that is different. There is no doubting Krishna there, either by the cowherd boys or the Mother Yashoda or by the gopis. There is no doubting. Whereas Bhrigumani came with like a doubt. Of course, he was quite sure, but he just to prove. So it was a very different thing. Yeah. To test, he was testing. But of course, Bhrigumani is actually a great devotee, first of all. But
Yes.
they're all to show
Prabhu,
us. Huh?
Prabhu, like Durvasa Muni and Bhrigu Muni are not like non-devotees.
What is that?
I mean, Durvasa Muni and Bhrigu Muni, are they non-devotees or like devotees?
Now they're devotees at least. At least now. Durvasa Muni, after he got his back on fire
Yes,
by
Prabhu.
Sudarshan Chakra, he understood the value of devotees. After that, when Yudhishthira Maharaj, that Akshay Patra incident happened, he did not dare go back to them because, oh, we are feeling full. How we can go back and if he feeds a big feast and if we don't eat, then he will again curse us, another pure devotee. So I will not go. I'll run away from here. So he understood the thing of devotees. In the expansion of Lord, Rudra.
Yes, Prabhu. Thanks, Prabhu.
Anaswara Mataji. 640, Bhagavad Gita 6.40 purport. It says the Bhagavatam assures the unsuccessful transcendentalist that there need be no worries. Even though he may be subjected to the reaction of not perfectly executing prescribed duties, he will not still be a loser because auspicious Krishna consciousness is never forgotten and once so engaged will continue to be so even if he is low born in the next life. On the other hand, one who simply follows strictly the prescribed duties need not necessarily attain auspicious results if he is lacking in Krishna consciousness. Is this type of person different from 641 and 42 Bhagavad Gita verses as above verse is telling of low birth? So, so here, like for example, the American devotees who joined the movement and the Indians who did not join the movement when Prabhupada was preaching since his Grihastha days, who's actually more fortunate? The Americans who actually joined the movement. So why were they born in America and had to meet Prabhupada at that time? Again, something, something must have been there, you see. Somewhere, something we don't not know. And sometimes low born, for example, is advantage actually, especially in Kali Yuga. Sometimes. See, for example, Jada Bharat. He was born in a Brahmin family, but he considered that a disadvantage because again I'm going to be caught up in all this karma kandi stuff and then marriage and this and that again. No. I rather act like a complete fool rather than a so-called Brahmana. So he considered that, even Kunti Devi says, what is that? What is that famous verse? 1826. Aishwarya. Who can tell that verse? Yeah, that first line is what? Forgot this verse.
Janma Aishwarya Stuta Sri Bir.
Janmaishwarya.
Yeah, Janmaishwarya.
Janmaishwarya Shruta Shri Phir Edhamana
Mana
Madan.
Madan.
Naivarhati Abhidhatum Vaikvam Akinchana Gocharam. Narasimha, Narasimhadev Bhagwan ki jai.
Jai, jai.
My lord, your lordship can easily be approached by only by those who are materially exhausted. Because one who is on the path of material progress, trying to improve himself with respectable parentage, great opulence, high education, and bodily beauty, cannot address you with sincere feeling. For example, even Ravana was very, very elevated, even Brahmana's son. But Vanaras were monkeys. Ramachandra, benedicted them than Ravana. Ravana was the demon actually. And especially with Kali Yuga, Brahmana, we have just seen Rakshasa, Rakshasim Kalumashritya Jayanta Brahmayonasa. Actually, there is a case in India. All Brahmins, they think they're very, very pious, and then they think the Vaishnavas, you all are like one Christian religion, they are all fanatic people. This is how they think. So this is so sometimes without all that fanfare and all that bells and whistles and all that pride that comes with a good birth, aristocratic birth, a low-born birth, naturally he is humble and he can make progress. So in that way, that's why it is yasya lakshanam proktam pumso varnabhivyanjakam yad anyatrapi drishyeta tattenaiva vinirdishyet. 7:11:35 Narad Muni says yasya lakshanam proktam. According to qualities, it doesn't matter where exactly he is born. Sometimes he may be seemingly born in low birth, but he may, and sometimes it is just actual low birth, but just that it is the mercy of the pure devotees that they actually reach out to those low birth people, and mostly it is that actually. We cannot think that, oh, I'm a great soul, that's why I took as a drug addict in America so that I can be liberated by Prabhupada. So it may be true, but actually it's the mercy of the pure devotee. Ultimately, it's just the mercy of pure devotee, nothing else actually. Krishna Bhakti Janma Mula Hoy Sadhu Sangha. There is so much nectar in it. I feel sorry for those who don't read it only because it wasn't translated by Prabhupada. Yeah, tell me about it. They were original book vadis, and then they don't care to understand these things. So much nectar, as they say. All this Chitra Jalpa and all these things. That's why Prabhupada wanted them completed. Alright, I think we have come to the end. What is this? 3:25:20. We have missed one. Prasanga Majaram Pasham. Yes, actually, this is a very important verse. I think also by Vishnu Prabhu probably. 3:25. Prasangam. Prakrishrupena Sangam. Prasangam Ajaram Pasham Atmanah Kavayo Vidhu. Attachment, strong, Ajaram. Saeva Sadhusukrito Mokshadvaram Apavratam. That's very important verse. Same thing actually by like 3:23:55. Every learned man knows very well that attachment for the materialist is the greatest entanglement of the spirit soul. But that same attachment, when applied to the self-realized devotees, opens the door of liberation. Beautiful verse. Okay, I think we have come to the end of the session. Thank you all very much, and sorry for my, as usual, long-winded answers. So thank you, and happy to hear that actually Prabhu is, but I think he still haven't woken up yet from the thing. All right, so I think tomorrow morning we will have more news. Prabhu looks sleep deprived. Me? A little bit. All right, thank you all very much. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you for your class,
Thank
Prabhu.
you, Prabhuji.